Trichotomy of Control. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a vast ocean, watching waves roll endlessly toward shore. Some waves you can see coming from far away, their crests catching sunlight as they build momentum. Others appear suddenly, crashing with unexpected force against the rocks below. You realize that while you cannot control the ocean itself, you can choose where to stand, how to brace yourself, and whether to step closer or move to higher ground. But then a deeper question emerges. What exactly lies within your power, and what remains forever beyond your reach? The ancient Stoics discovered something remarkable when they looked closely at human experience. They found that everything in life can be divided not into two categories, but three. Things completely within our control, things we can influence but not command, and things entirely beyond our power. This trichotomy reveals a paradox that challenges our everyday assumptions about agency and helplessness. We often exhaust ourselves trying to control what cannot be controlled, while neglecting the profound power we actually possess in areas we've never fully explored. On one hand, you might believe that your happiness depends on external circumstances aligning perfectly with your desires. You work tirelessly to arrange the world around you, to influence outcomes, to ensure that other people respond to you in specific ways. This feels natural, even necessary for a meaningful life. On the other hand, you've probably noticed that the harder you grip these external things, the more they seem to slip away. The promotion you desperately want goes to someone else. The weather ruins your carefully planned vacation. The person you're trying to impress remains distant and uninterested. Consider what happens when you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your immediate impulse might be to feel frustrated, to honk your horn, to mentally rehearse explanations and apologies. But the Stoic trichotomy invites you to pause and categorize. The traffic itself belongs entirely to the third category, completely outside your control. Your punctuality in this moment has shifted into the second category, something you can influence through your response, but cannot guarantee. What remains fully within your control? Your breathing, your thoughts about the situation, your choice to use this time productively or destructively. The first category, complete control, turns out to be much smaller than most people imagine, yet infinitely more powerful. You control your judgments about what happens to you. You control your values and the principles you choose to live by. You control your attention and where you direct it moment by moment. You control your responses to both praise and criticism. These might seem like small things compared to controlling outcomes in the external world, but they represent the essence of human freedom. Even in the most constrained circumstances, this inner citadel remains inviolable. The second category, influence without control, encompasses much of what we spend our days thinking about. Your health, your relationships, your career, your reputation. You can eat well and exercise, but you cannot guarantee perfect health. You can be kind and attentive to others, but you cannot control their responses to your kindness. You can work diligently and skillfully, but you cannot ensure that your efforts will be recognized or rewarded. This middle ground requires a delicate balance, caring enough to act, but holding outcomes lightly enough to maintain your peace of mind. The philosophy deepens when you realize that this trichotomy is not just a practical tool, but a lens for understanding the human condition itself. We are beings caught between agency and fate, between the power to shape our inner lives and the humility to accept outer circumstances. This tension is not a flaw to be resolved, but the very space in which wisdom grows. Every moment presents you with the choice to focus your energy where it can be genuinely effective, or to scatter it uselessly against immovable realities. Think about how this applies to your deepest concerns and relationships. You cannot control whether someone loves you, but you can control how honestly and openly you express your own love. You cannot control whether your children make choices you approve of, but you can control the values you model and the unconditional support you provide. You cannot control whether your creative work is appreciated by others, but you can control the integrity and care you bring to the creative process itself. This shift in focus often leads to better outcomes in the external world, but that's not its primary purpose. Its purpose is to align your efforts with reality. The trichotomy also reveals something profound about suffering and contentment. Most emotional pain comes from unconsciously treating second and third category items as if they belong to the first category. When you expect to control your reputation, other people's behavior, or the timing of life's major events, you set yourself up for chronic frustration. But when you clearly see what belongs where, a strange peace begins to emerge. You can care deeply about external things while simultaneously holding them with an open hand. As you settle into this understanding, you might notice that the categories themselves are not always fixed. A situation that seems completely outside your control might reveal small pockets of influence when you look more carefully. A response that feels automatic and determined might actually be more flexible than you initially realized. The practice becomes one of gentle discernment, repeatedly asking yourself, where does this belong? And where am I most effective right now? The wisdom of the trichotomy lies not in achieving perfect detachment, but in developing skillful engagement. You learn to invest your energy where it can actually make a difference, while accepting with grace the vast territories that lie beyond your reach. This is not resignation, but a form of strategic clarity that often leads to greater effectiveness and deeper satisfaction. You do what you can do, influence what you can influence, and release what cannot be changed. It's not about solving the fundamental tension between control and surrender, but about dancing more gracefully within that tension. As you rest tonight, you might simply notice which category your current concerns belong to and gently redirect your attention to the realm where your power actually resides.